Here's a scene almost every cat owner knows too well. You open a brand new can of expensive cat food, and your cat sniffs it once, then walks away like you personally offended them. Most people think this means their cat is spoiled, but cats don't choose food the way humans do. To them, scent means survival, and sometimes one wrong smell is enough to make perfectly good food feel unsafe, which means your cat may not be rejecting the food at all, they may be rejecting the signal. And later in this video, you'll discover one simple scent trick powerful enough to turn even the pickiest, most stubborn cat into an enthusiastic eater. Number 1. Tuna water. And this is where picky eating starts to make a lot more sense, because cats don't choose food the way humans do, they choose through scent. Animal behaviorists have long noticed that cats are extremely sensitive to unfamiliar smells. In the wild, the wrong scent could mean spoiled prey, and spoiled prey could mean danger. That instinct never disappeared, which is why tuna water works so well. The smell is strong, rich, almost like real prey. And suddenly, the food feels safer to trust. That's why some cats ignore an entire bowl of food, then immediately walk over once tuna water touches the surface. But don't overdo it. If cats become too attached to intense smells, normal food can start to feel flat by comparison. Just 1 or 2 teaspoons is enough. And don't mix it in. Let your cat smell it first, because sometimes the food was never the problem. The signal was, and the next topper changes that signal in a completely different way. Number 2. Warm bone broth. And some cats react to this almost instantly. Not because the flavor is better, because warm food feels more alive. Think about it. In the wild, fresh prey would never be cold. It would still carry warmth, still carry scent, and cats never fully lost that instinct, which is why some cats suddenly become interested in food the moment it's warmed slightly. Not hot, just warm enough for the smell to slowly rise into the air, and suddenly the bowl feels fresher, softer, safer to trust. For some cats, that tiny change is enough to make eating feel comfortable again. But be careful. Most bone broth made for humans contains onion or garlic. Both can be harmful to cats over time, so always check the ingredients first, because sometimes a picky cat isn't asking for different food, just food that feels alive again. Number 3. Freeze-dried meat. And strangely enough, sometimes picky eating has nothing to do with food at all. Sometimes life just started feeling too repetitive. Think about most indoor cats for a second. The same rooms, the same walls, the same routine. Day after day after day, and eventually even the food starts feeling predictable, until one small thing changes, a different smell, a different texture, a tiny crunch sound they haven't heard in a while, and suddenly you see it. That small spark of curiosity come back into their eyes again. They walk toward the bowl slower, more carefully, like something finally feels interesting again, not exciting, just different. And for some cats, that tiny feeling is enough to make them want to eat. Because sometimes a picky cat isn't rejecting the food, they're reacting to how repetitive life has started to feel. Number 4. Boiled chicken. And strangely enough, some cats that haven't eaten properly in days will slowly come out of hiding the moment they smell fresh chicken cooking in the kitchen. Not expensive wet food, not treats, just the smell of simple chicken. Maybe because it's one of the few food smells in a home that doesn't feel artificial. It's not overwhelming, not overly processed, just warm food that was recently made. Soft, plain, familiar. And for anxious cats, that familiarity matters more than flavor sometimes. You'll notice them walk closer more carefully, sniff longer, eat only a little. But at least they start eating again. And sometimes for cat owners, that tiny moment alone feels like relief. Number 5. Bonito flakes. And the first time some cats smell this, their entire expression changes. They stop walking, ears forward, eyes wider, like something just activated in their brain. Because Bonito flakes don't smell like ordinary cat food. They smell intensely alive. Dry fish, smoke, ocean. The scent spreads through a room almost instantly, and cats notice it immediately, especially indoor cats that spend most of their lives surrounded by the same quiet smells every day. Which is probably why some cats react to Bonito flakes with almost childlike curiosity, not aggressive, not desperate, just awake again. You sprinkle a little over the bowl, and suddenly they're sniffing around like they've discovered something new. And honestly, sometimes that's all a picky cat needed. Not better food, just a reason to feel interested again. Number 6. Parmesan cheese. And honestly, I thought this sounded completely fake the first time I heard it, until I watched someone sprinkle a little Parmesan over their cat's food and saw a cat sprint into the kitchen like rent was due, which is hilarious when you remember cats are supposed to be tiny predators, yet somehow lose their minds over fancy pasta cheese. But there's actually a reason for it. Parmesan has an incredibly strong savoury smell, and some cats react to it almost instantly. Especially older cats or picky cats that stopped feeling excited about food a long time ago. You'll see them suddenly pause, look toward the bowl, sniff the air like something suspicious just happened in the kitchen, and for the first time all day, they seem interested again. Not because Parmesan magically fixes picky eating. It doesn't. But sometimes it interrupts the routine, and honestly a lot of picky cats seem less picky the moment something finally makes eating feel interesting again. Just don't use too much. A tiny sprinkle is enough. Otherwise your cat may eventually start expecting Michelin star service every night. Number 7. And this one might be the strangest of all. Catnip. Not for playing, for eating. Which sounds completely ridiculous until you actually see it happen. Some cats that ignore food for hours suddenly become weirdly interested the moment a tiny pinch of catnip is sprinkled nearby. Not every cat reacts to it. Some cats genuinely could not care less, but others act like you just unlocked a hidden part of their personality. Rolling, sniffing, rubbing their face on the floor for absolutely no reason, then casually walking over to the food bowl afterward like nothing happened. And honestly, scientists still don't fully understand why catnip affects cats the way it does. But animal behavior experts believe the scent temporarily stimulates parts of the brain connected to excitement and curiosity, which might explain why some cats seem more open to eating afterward, not because catnip makes the food taste better, but because it changes their mood first. And sometimes, that emotional shift matters more than the food itself, which is honestly a very cat thing to do, and after living with cats long enough, you start realizing something strange. Most picky cats were never trying to be difficult. A lot of them were stressed, bored, lonely, overstimulated, or simply tired of a world that stopped feeling interesting to them. And sometimes, all it takes is one tiny change to bring a piece of them back again. A warmer smell, a softer texture, a different sound coming from the bowl. Small things, almost invisible things, but cats notice them. They always do. Maybe that's why people who truly love cats become so emotional over moments other people would never understand. A cat finally eating again, sleeping peacefully after days of anxiety, walking into the kitchen the moment they smell food. Those moments look tiny from the outside, but when you live with a cat, they never feel tiny at all. Because over time you realize feeding a cat was never just about food. It was about learning another living creature well enough to make the world feel safe for them again.